It's a snow day here at Redgate Farm. We had a big snowstorm move in over the last 48 hours. It was predicted to have about 2 or 3 times the snow we got. Unfortunately, we didn't get very much, so it's hardly worth plowing. But one of my favorite jobs to do with the horses is plow snow. In addition, they have an event coming up, and I need to get them back in harness and working just to get them fine-tuned and ready for the event mentally. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plow what little snow there is and maybe have a little fun with horses in the snow today. So tag along.
Good morning, YouTubers. We got about 4 inches of snow last night, so we're gonna have to plow a little bit. It's not a whole lot of snow, but we're not a primary road or a secondary road or even a tertiary road here. We have a lot of easements and private roads back in our neighborhood, and they just don't get plowed by the county. And so I've got a great neighbor of mine who's got a little bitty lawnmower with a 36-inch blade, and it's pretty cute and it's entertaining to watch him. But our weapon of choice for this is the fork cart with a 7-foot steel blade on the back. It's operated by a hand lever. You'll see some of that later, but we've got to get the chores done here, let some of the light come up because we don't have lights on this. So once that happens, we'll get to plowing. Bring the horses up. They come up in the morning. They eat a little bit of mineral, and we check their hooves and do all sorts of things here. Coming out from the track here. And there goes Bella in the wrong spot. That's not your stall, girl. That's not your stall. That's not your stall. That is Grace's stall. Okay. Here we go. And we'll just brush them off and get them ready for some plowing. Hey girls, we're gonna plow this morning. They don't look real excited.
So before we really get going on the plowing, I figure I should take a moment and introduce you to our horses. This one is Bella. Bella is a former BLM Mustang who she was born out in the wild up in the mountains in southern Utah from the sulfur herd. And she has been just a fun little horse all around, mostly for teaching our kids and other kids. We've used her for lessons. And if any of our horses come close to being freeloaders, it's gonna be her. But she does earn her keep just by being a sweetheart, and like I said, she is around for letting the kids trail ride and such. So she is the only non-workhorse that we have currently. She does have a harness, and we have introduced her to working in harness, but I just don't have a need for her, so she tends to stay pretty green in that. The other horses, oh, they're in the barn and somebody got the light turned out. Let me go over here and turn that on. They come in, as you saw earlier, and eat their different supplements. So, hey girl. So this one here is Grace. Grace is what we call a drum horse. It's typically a Gypsy Vanner crossed with another hairy type of breed, such as a Clydesdale, a Shire. We don't actually know Grace's breeding. Grace is a rescue, and she has been in harness a couple of times just to keep her fresh mentally and understanding cues, but she actually needs a lot of rehabilitation. She's got some really bad feet. She was very underweight when we got her, so we really don't work her much yet. We're just letting her hang out and heal here at Redgate Farm, and then we hope to start working her later this summer a lot more as a typical workhorse. You've already met Flash and Lightning in our logging demo video, but this here is Lightning. Lightning is our big girl. She's very slow, but she's very powerful and very strong. So this is Lightning here. She's our bigger one. And then you've got Flash. Flash is our very friendly, probably one of the friendliest of all our horses. And she's very curious, doesn't want anyone else to get attention if she can help it. She's a little smaller than Lightning, although they are actually sisters, 3/4 sisters. They both had their mothers or half sisters by the same sire, so they are 3/4 sisters, but they look surprisingly different. Both size-wise, they're different temperament-wise, so it's kind of interesting. But I am going to give them a quick groom and throw on their harnesses, and we're going to get busy.
All right, the sun's come up. It's a beautiful day here. I want to give you a better picture of what we're looking at here with the forecart because the first time we looked at it, it was quite dark outside. So again, 7-foot blade. This blade is made by Pioneer, and this blade is adjustable left and right, so you can angle it either way depending on where you're going. We also use this for dirt, by the way. There's level adjustments here in the back, so if I want the blade really low, I pull these up. If I want it a little bit higher, I drop them down, and it basically has a skid plate on the bottom there to keep the blade at a certain level. Now in this gravel, I tend to want it just right above the surface, because if I pull that thing up, it'll drag a bunch of gravel and throw it off my driveway, and I don't want that to happen. So we're going to go ahead and set this right now, probably at that angle. And then if I hop up here on the machine, this is our lever here. Well, we got snow on there. That's okay. I'll get a little wet. That's the lever that drops it down. And obviously, if the front end were up, that would actually be in the snow. And then if we need to, we pick it back up again. And it's not too difficult to operate. My wife operates it, although she's pretty strong. But let's see how we can hook the girls up and make it work. Get with that blade on, the center of gravity is a lot further back, so I'm going to move this to the side and show you how we actually hook the back up here. So there's the butt end of the horse. So we've got these trace chains here. Come back to what we call the evener. We hook both sides. You gotta play it down right now. And you can see these trace chains. That's the trace, goes back here, hooks to the forecart, onto an evener, and the evener evens out the pull between the two horses. So if they get slightly ahead of each other, that pull is consistent through that center pin there, and that's why they call it an evener, because it evens out the pull between the two horses and gives you a nice steady pull on the equipment, even though the horses may not be in step. So here we go.
barn, and the horses worked up a little bit of a sweat while we were working on the snow plowing today. So what we're going to do is bring them in here. They're going to get a break. They get some hay and some water. But I don't want them to chill since they did work up a sweat, and it's pretty chilly out today. So what we do is we have special fleece coolers that we put it on right over the harness if necessary. That's what I'm going to do today. And that allows them to actually steam off, but it keeps the heat in. The fleece just sucks the moisture out and allows it to evaporate through the blanket. So it's a handy blanket to use when you need to. Interestingly enough, it's called Cool a Horse, but we're really trying to keep the horse warm. They've got their coolers on, so we're going to let them stand here in the barn, and hopefully a little bit later we're going to go out and have a lot of fun with these girls. But for now, I'm going to put the other two horses out, the ones we don't need, and let them go back out on their track and just kind of hang out and do their horse thing. And these girls are well taken care of in here with food, water, and a good way to stay warm. Okay, so we're back. I've got the horses reconnected here and hitched back up to the forecart. You'll notice one change we made during the break. We actually popped the wheels off and put our ski runners on. So we're gonna go have a little fun. We are actually gonna attach some sleds to the back of this forecart. We're gonna go down and meet the kids as they get off the bus and take them for a little sleigh ride. Around here we call that making memories, and I think it's safe to say it's sledding a different way. So, come with us, this will be fun.
If they need some speed. I feel every bump. Go. Hey, say hi, say hi. How'd you like that, Kyla?
We've got the horses back and took their harnesses off. I'm doing just a quick brush down, and then they are done with their workday. So I'm gonna turn them back out to the track, and they will go and join their buddies.